Satoshi Saturday, number 76. How Satoshis can keep you poor and rich at the same time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I want to talk to you about today. What is up, guys? It is Saturday, July 26, 2025. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 907,315 as of this recording. Also, as of this recording, the Bitcoin price is just over $118,000. 100 and something, give or take. But that's not the important part, guys. The important part is, for $1, for one measly cuck buck, you can get yourself 846 Satoshis. And yes, I said it, for $1. My goodness, guys, welcome back to another episode of Satoshi Saturday, the official Satoshi Saturday. I believe I'm the only one that does this. And, I've just been thinking about my life and how I do things and everything ever since I've been into the hard money world, right? Gold and silver in the summer of 2020. And then later on, a few months later, into Bitcoin, and then really diving into Satoshis, because I didn't even know what Satoshis were. I just knew about Bitcoin. I didn't know they were divisible and everything else. And on the side note, guys, we really had a good time yesterday on our live, on our Friday, Fat Sat Friday live, historic live. Thanks again to Paul the GOAT. Shout out to him, and also Jenny, legendary, giving two big donations to the people, and that's what it's all about, guys. And all the donations that I got, Short Man, thank you, Sin, Ian, Shore, everybody, all you guys, I really appreciate it. We have a lot of fun on those lives. I do a live 7 days a week now. I'll be doing one today. If you can't catch it live and catch it on the replay, but I'll do one today at, I think I'm gonna do it at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, right around there. I gotta nail down the time for Saturdays. And then Sunday will be a chill day, but we'll do a live all week. We have a lot of fun. So go ahead and join us. Come on there live, and not only will you learn, but you'll earn. If you put your name on the wheel of Satoshi, we spin it, and I give away Satoshis 7 days a week. So come join us on the live, please, and thank you. But, my life has changed ever since I've realized the problem of inflation. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. How the banking system works and everything else. And again, we talk about Bitcoin and precious metals or whatever, particularly Bitcoin on this channel, because you guys know my name is Jerry Loves Freedom, and it's all about the freedom and sovereignty of a human being. And I believe the United States of America is the best country for that. We've fell off the last 4 years. We're getting back now these last 6 months, but last 4 years, let's just say we haven't been the most freest country in the world. We got a lot of work to do. But let me tell you two things that really hit home with me about the banking system and inflation. First, the banking system. This was in 2019. I bought a car, a Toyota Avalon. It was a 2013 Toyota Avalon. Nice car too, man. Very nice. Leather seats. You can warm your seats up. Cool your seats down. Very fancy car for a guy like me. I've always been a saver. I don't spend a lot of money on things, but it was time for me to get a new car, and I did a lot of research. And for me personally, I like Toyotas. I'm not a big car guy, I gotta have a fancy car or nothing like that, but I love Toyotas, man. I just do. I just think, I'm not saying this to be racist or nothing, but the Japanese just make a really good car, and they last a long time, and they're very, very cheap to get fixed. You know what I mean? And I just like them, especially a nice Toyota. And I got a Toyota Avalon. And for those of you that don't know, a Toyota Avalon is in between a Camry and a Lexus, right? It's like a hybrid. It's got a little bit of both. And I got a good deal on it. I got a really good deal on it. So I remember I went to the bank, and I had some money in there, cash in there, money at the time I thought it was. And the car was 16,000 something bucks. This was 2019, and it was a 2013. It had very, very low miles too. I want to say it had less than 20,000 miles. or something like that. An older couple had it. Or maybe it wasn't that low. Maybe it was less than 50,000 or something like that. It was very low. I remember that. And I said, man, I wanted this car. So we worked out a deal. You know, I was going to pay him cash and everything. And I went to the bank, and the bank would not give me my money. Just wouldn't do it. And I was like, what? You know, I didn't understand. And by the way, guys, I went to school for finance. So I know a little bit about money. That's why I did it, because I wanted to learn about money. And I learned that from Robert Kiyosaki. I remember he said, if you want to be rich, you have to study money. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to be. Not because I wanted to be greedy or nothing like that. It's just that something I wanted to do. That's why I got into real estate and all these other different things that I was doing, because he made a good example. He said, if you want to be a chef, you study food. If you want to be a lawyer, you study law. If you want to be a police officer, you know, and a fireman, you study those things. And if you want to be rich, you study money. So I took, you know, classes in finance and accounting and personal finance and, you know, all these different things, right? But I left school, jump to another story real quick. I left school in because I did 2 years at a community college, and then I did it was a 2+2. And then I did the 2 years at a SUNY college. And then in my last semester, I decided not to go back because I just didn't like the way they did that, because I wanted to be a personal financial advisor. I guess I am now, to be honest with you. And by the way, on a side note, I've been into Bitcoin 4.5 years now. So if you need help doing something, you want a one-on-one consultation with me, go ahead and send me an email. I do 15-minute blocks. I don't charge a certain amount to do that, but if you want to, you know, have a consultation with me, or just somebody to talk to or help you out or whatever. I'm not a technical guy, but I can help you out up to the knowledge I have. Shoot me an email and then we'll trade value for value, all right? You shoot me some sats for whatever you think kind of value I gave you, all right? And I left the last semester because something just wasn't right. And I swear it had to be God, man, doing this for me, because I didn't like all the woke stuff and everything, and I didn't like the way things were going on. I just didn't want to go into that workforce. I always told myself I didn't want to have a job. But the military, I was in the military gave me money to go back to school. So that's why I did it. And at the last minute, I said, nah, I can't do it. I'm so glad I didn't. So fast forward, not that long after that, after school, maybe a year or two later, right? Yeah, probably less. They wouldn't give me the money. And I'm like, what? And they're just giving me all these problems. Finally, like 48 hours later, I got it. I had to do all this stuff just to get my money. And I'm like, what the hell is this, man? This is not right. This ain't right. And so that stuck with me. And then the next summer, my friend introduced me to gold and silver, and the rest was history. So I got into all that stuff. And I've always been a saver, right? I've been saving, stuff like that. And then I love my car. So I drove my car from Rochester, New York, all the way across the country to Vegas, because I had to get away from New York State because it was just too woke for me. You know, I just left, and I started to realize that a lot of things were wrong in 2020, and I learned about how the money was broken and the money printing and all this other stuff. I was like, wow, okay, really knew it. Then I got into Bitcoin in February 2021. Then the rest was history. Well, I didn't have a per se job. I do have some income coming in from the military and other things. So everything that I did outside of that was all for gold and silver and Bitcoin. So I got a job delivering pizzas in early 2021. A little bit, probably a month after I started stacking Bitcoin, right? So I was doing some other things before that. So I got here November, October of 2020 in Vegas. And so I got into the pizza game, delivering pizzas in Las Vegas. And that was pretty lucrative for me, because everything was like under the, so it was a cash business. And every day I would buy gold and silver and stuff. Long story short, in 2022, February 2022, a year after I started stacking Bitcoin, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. Excuse me, guys. I got into a car accident. Somebody I was going, it was like 2, 3 in the morning. I was delivering pizzas, had like 5 orders in the car, never forget that. And somebody ran a red light and smashed into my car and totaled my 2013 Toyota Camry. And man, I was so fortunate to be alive, man, because that really car hit me hard. Like they hit me so hard, I literally thought that I did something wrong. I thought that I ran through the red light because we were both going 40-something miles a piece. So just imagine the impact on that, right? And so that happened. The insurance company totaled my car. Sorry about the wind, guys. Insurance company totaled my car, and I got a check for $19,000, right? 19,000 bucks. I wasn't happy about that because I wanted to keep my car, but they're like, no, we have to total it. And I was like, all right, well, I quote unquote made $3,000, right? From that expedition, because I bought the car, you know, a couple years, 3 years before in 2019, had it for 3 years, put a bunch of miles on it, and now I got $3,000 more dollars. Like, how does that work? You know, because we know the old saying, you buy a car, as soon as you drive it off the lot, you lose 25%. And I'm like, wow, because I wasn't in the car market. I didn't know what cars cost at the time. But I quickly found out why they gave me $19,000 is because cars that I wanted, another Toyota Avalon, they cost $25,000, $26,000, $27,000. And I'm like, wow, that's why they gave me $19,000. I didn't really make anything. I actually lost, you know, because it was a bit of a supply and demand shock at that time. I'm not gonna lie. You know, with cars, you remember the car market back then. This might have been 10 or 20% of it. But the other 80, 90% of it is they were printing dollars left and right. Remember, they printed 40% of the money supply. Remember the 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 club? And I was like, wow, that's when it really hit me. And I knew what inflation was, and I was teaching about it and all that stuff. When it really hit you, you're like, wow. So what I did was, I didn't buy a car, and I drove, got on the bus, and I didn't have a car for 4 months. That's the only car I have, by the way. And I just searched and searched and searched. And finally, my goddaughter was telling me about a guy that rents cars. We had some family coming in, and we needed a car. So he goes, and I didn't want to go to a rental car place. So I asked my goddaughter, I said, hey, don't you have that guy that rents cars? She said, yeah. And he had a 2016 Toyota Camry. A maroonish red Toyota Camry with black rims and black tint. And red and black are my favorite colors. I think orange is now. But and I was like, wow. And I got that, and I was like, man, I was driving it. And it was a Camry, and it was a 2016. It had low miles. And I said, wow, this is a nice car, man. You know, is it as good as my Avalon? Does it have the sunroof and the heated seats and, you know, the nice little screen on it and stuff like my Avalon did? No. It was actually a downgrade, even though it was 3 years younger. But I liked the car, you know. So I asked the guy, I said, hey, man, is this car for sale? He said, yeah, I'll sell it to you. He said, it's got a salvage title, meaning it's been into an accident and has, you know, it wasn't totaled, or was it totaled? I don't know. But it was a salvage title. And I looked up the car, and the car was worth about $17,500 to $18,500. And I was like, okay. He was selling it for 10. Now this is looking up the comps. Based on not being salvaged, okay? And I looked it up, and you know, I said, wow, 17.5, 18.5. But I got to obviously take off something because it's salvage. But for 10 grand, I said, all right. So I started wheeling and dealing with them. And long story short, we made a deal for $8,500. I'll never forget that. And I paid him in cash. Brought the cash to him, $8,500. I got the title, and the car was mine. Why am I telling you this? Is because, like I said in the beginning of this video, Satoshis will keep you poor and rich at the same time. What do you guys think I did with the proceeds of that money in 2022? Because remember, I'm not a mathematician here, but I had 19,000 something, but let's just say 19,000 minus 8,500, right? So I took that and I bought a few things. I kept a little bit in cash. I ended up spending the cash on the hard money. I bought silver. I bought hard silver, constitutional silver, Ingle hards, all that stuff, and the rest I put into Bitcoin. Now, this was July of 2022, June or July of 2022. It's 4 months later after the accident. March, April, May, June, July, June or July. And I put it all in the hard money. The first thing you have to understand is when you have a guy like American HODL or something like that saying that you're not stacking hard enough, and you got these people that are extreme one way or extreme another. I'm the type of person, I live an 80-20 life, and I've told you guys this before, right? American HODL doesn't do that. I live 80% of what my discretionary income goes into. I put it into Bitcoin. The other 20%, I have fun with it. My time, I put 80% working, 20% into having fun. Now, I got to be honest. Lately, I've been probably 90 or 95 Bitcoin and fun ratio. But I'm trying to get to the 80-20. American HODL, that clip I play on my lives, he basically says, you're not stacking hard enough if your car's this, and if you're not bagging your lunch, and people aren't calling you a retard and all this other stuff. And I get it. But again, you got to live for today. You know what I mean? But always be prepared for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because you never know what's going to happen. So I take a little bit of that and put it away. But here's the thing. The first thing you got to do is you have to understand that you got to be appreciative of things that you have. That humbled me when I didn't have a car for a few months, because I was the type of guy that just got in my car and went. But when your car is in the shop, or you don't have a car and you only have one, and you realize how important that vehicle is to you, and I'm sure everybody listening to this has been through that. That humbles you, man, and it did for me. I was taking the bus for 4 or 5 months. When I had to go somewhere, I had to walk somewhere, and that humbled me. And so the first thing you got to do is you got to have an attitude of gratitude. You got to appreciate everything that you have before it's gone, right? That's number one. Number two, tomorrow's not promised, so you have to live for today. You know what I mean? But three, you also have to get ready for the future, because it's on this way. So when I say Satoshis keep you poor and rich at the same time, a lot of my energy and my time, money, time goes into Satoshis. I put it in my dollars into it. I work a lot to put it in there, put it into Satoshis. I do all these videos, and you guys give me the best job in the world on these lives now. And you guys, fund my channel because I work for you. That's my job now. You guys are my boss. And I put that into Satoshis, or you give me Satoshis. And then if I get a YouTube check, I put it into Satoshis, right? That's how it, keeps me poor, because I can't go and do everything like everybody else does. I can't be like everybody else. All my friends and people that I know, especially people that come here to Vegas and go on big trips, they're doing things that I just can't do, man. I'm just not going to do that. I can't spend $4,000 and $5,000 on a trip. I just can't. But what I do is I appreciate what I have, and my life is a vacation. I turned my life into a vacation, meaning I moved to the best city in the world, in my opinion, my favorite city, Las Vegas. Las Vegas, Nevada is my favorite city in the world that I've been to. And I've always dreamed about being here. If you look at my live, you'll see a picture behind me, a little small picture of Las Vegas. That's a picture I took from home, because my grandparents used to always go there, and I never forget. My grandma was not the nicest lady in the world. And when she was, when I was young and she would go to Las Vegas, she would come back very, very happy. And I remember I always wanted to go to Las Vegas, because if a place can make my grandma happy, I need to go. And that's what I do. So I have little mini vacations, right? I work all day, and then I'll go down and say, let me just go to the casino for a minute. I may not spend any money, but I like to watch people enjoy themselves. Go to the poker room, sit down at a blackjack table, walk around the casino, walk around Fremont Street, walk around the Strip. I have a vacation within my life. I don't wait for Fridays or vacation time. I just do that, right? So you have to appreciate what you have. And then also, enjoy the little things. Normally I eat at home, but when I do eat out, I make sure that I get a discount, and I'll get to that in a second. But I like when I can sit down at a restaurant. I'm not talking about a 5-star restaurant. I'm talking about some places like an Arby's or a little hometown shop over here or something or whatever. You know, you can sit down and I pretend like I'm at a really fancy restaurant, because again, compared to my house, it is. And I go there and I order my food and I sit down, and a lot of times they'll come out and bring it to you, you know, and then you can go up there and get a drink, or sometimes they ask you for a drink or whatever. And I sit there and I enjoy that, you know, because I worked for it and I enjoy it because I worked really, really hard, you know. So you got to enjoy those little things, but also you got to enjoy today, but you got to get ready for tomorrow. So what I do is every time I go out somewhere, I have to get some Satoshis back. What do I mean by that? The other day when I was doing the live, I had to eat at my desk. So we ordered my daughter went and got us a Jersey Mike's sub, right? Well, before she went to Jersey Mike's, I used my Fold card. And again, if you don't have Fold card, you're not a real Bitcoiner, guys. In my personal opinion, you're not a serious Bitcoiner. If you can't spend dollars and get sats back. But I bought a gift card for $50, and it yielded me 2,200 sats. I got 7% back in sats on that, which is a lot less than I used to get because the price is so high. But I ended up getting 2,200 sats. Now, did I spend the $50 to get the gift card? Yes, I did. But I got something back on the back end. So I enjoyed today, meaning did something nice, but on the back end, I saved for tomorrow. Now, is that a fancy restaurant like everybody else? No. That means I'm living like a poor person compared to everybody else. But on the back end, I know I'm getting rich. And so that's what you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. You got to come in and you got to say, you know what? I got to enjoy life today. But don't go crazy with your spending. And to make sure that, and you know what, guys, I think I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode. I just seen something come into my phone. So if something happens, I'll probably have to come in and edit this. But you got to enjoy tomorrow. I mean, you got to enjoy today, and then you got to save for tomorrow. So that's what I do. I'm always poor because I can't go out like my other friends. Like we're always talking about the Las Vegas trip, and people are going to come here, and I'm not making fun of anybody when I say this or something like that. But, you know, I know some people that have a lot more than I have, you know what I mean? And I know they're going to go to these big steakhouses and stuff because, you know, Las Vegas is a big trip for most people. Not all people, but most people. Because a lot of people do come here and they've been here a lot of times. But a lot of people, when they come here, like, damn, I don't get to come to Vegas maybe a lot. Maybe I only come here once every 5 years or something. So they come in, they want to go to the steakhouse. There's some nice steakhouses, man. $100-something a plate or whatever. I can't do that, man. I just can't, because I know how many sats that's gonna cost me. Now, a lot of you guys are probably saying, oh, well, Jerry, you know, you can enjoy yourself. I get that, but I don't want to say expectations, but my gratitude is so high, and maybe my expectations are so low of what I'm used to eating and stuff, and my level of entertainment. I don't need to spend, you know, 80-something thousand sats for a dinner. And I'm not knocking anybody who does. I understand completely why you do it. But me, I just can't do that. So long story short, you got to have a balance. I also enjoy the poor, you know, compared to your other friends, because we're Satoshi stackers, we're Bitcoiners, and everybody else is going to be blowing their money, but you're not. So go out there, have an attitude of gratitude, appreciate what you have, number one. Stay focused. Know that you have a cheat code with these Satoshis, because every Satoshi that you get puts you ahead of everybody else. Let everybody else, quote unquote, live rich and, you know, YOLO and all this other stuff. They can do that, you know, but as a man and as a woman, but particularly a man, I'm 50 years old. I know this thing is going to outlive me, and 99%, 97% of it is going to go to my family, and the other 1 to 3%, I may use it to get something I like or borrow it from it or something like that. But the rest of it's going to my family. So again, enjoy life today. Stay poor as a Satoshi stacker, but know on the back end, while you're staying poor, you're going to get rich. And when you go out and spend on something, like for instance, I went to McDonald's the other day, and I used my app, my McDonald's app, and normally the I think the meal would have cost me 11 or 12 bucks, and I only spent 7 or 6 something, 7 something. I took the rest that I was going to spend and I put it into Satoshis. So again, enjoy life today. Like I said, stay poor, stack your Satoshis, and know today you're going to be poor, but tomorrow, you'll be very, very rich. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And again, guys, listen, you know, you got to do something today that your future self will thank you for. Not only yourself, but your family. And we know where this thing is going. We're 99.9% sure. Are we taking a little bit of a risk? Sure. Putting so much energy into something that we don't know for a fact that's going to happen. We know for a fact on paper, but we didn't go out to the future and know exactly what it is. So we're just guessing it's going to be that way. You know what I mean? Based on the numbers and stuff like that. But we don't have a time machine and we don't know what it's going to be in the future. But until then, till the future comes and your conviction is high, then you keep doing what you got to do. You keep stacking and keep doing it. You know what I mean? This guy up here staring at me. What the hell is he doing? Standing in the middle of the street staring at me. Anyways, I hate when people stare at me. But again, you got to do something today that your future self will thank you for. Your family in the future, whether you know this or not, is going to be thanking you time and time again, because you know where this thing is going. The future is on its way. Get on the train. Get your family and friends on the train. If you don't have 1 million Satoshis locked away, get to your 1 million sats. Get to your 100 hours of studying, and then hopefully you can get and run your own node. And then later we'll have a Satoshi-backed dollar, and we'll do our thing in the future. Because I believe in 10, 15, 20 years, you're not going to be able to buy Satoshis or trade in your cuck bucks for Satoshis. I don't believe that. I think you're going to have to work for it, because everybody's going to demand it. And since you know that, and if you don't know it, study. Do what you got to do today so that your family in the future will be set up for generations to come. Because I'm telling you this right now, whether you know this or not, ladies and gentlemen, your family is going to build statues of you for what you're doing today. So since you know that, do that family, your family, a favor. And please, Lord, let them heed these words. Stack Satoshis today. Today, guys. So that you and your family don't have to work for those exact same Satoshis tomorrow. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.